Sometimes we see main characters really get pushed to the limit, and when things are looking tough, the stars align and they're able to unlock and awaken their insane hidden powers. Welcome back to Animeology. Today we're going to take a very close look at the top magic anime with a main character that was able to awaken their true hidden powers. We've got some fantastic recommendations that you've probably never heard of, but you've definitely got to check these out. Number 10. Sacred 7. One of our greatest weaknesses is science fiction anime. Sacred 7 is easily one of the best in show, following a lonely MC, Alma, that is one day approached by a mysterious character, asking about the hidden power of the Sacred 7 that exists within Alma. Alma vowed to never use the power of the Sacred 7 ever again. In the past, he had to hurt far too many people, but when his city is attacked by a vicious monster, Alma's got no choice but to go back on his word and truly unleash the power of the Sacred 7. We soon learn that his god mode is nearly unrivaled. Alma faces a constant inner battle between his humanity and the raw, unhinged power of the Sacred 7. Having been reawoken, watch Alma as he struggles to hold onto his humanity and protect the ones that he loves, not only from the beasts and supernatural beings, but also from himself. Number 9. Tokyo Ravens. Following World War I and some powerful magical rituals that went wrong, the entire Japanese continent is truly messed up, covered with supernatural occurrences and a very difficult area to live in. Tokyo Ravens starts off with magic that is integrated with technology, with heavy usage across the medical field. However, only a certain number of people are capable of utilizing this magical power. We follow a young man that lacks any spiritual power, outcast by society, and living a reasonably uneventful life. That is until he hears rumors of the same disaster about to reoccur, an epic tale of two people against insurmountable odds. We slowly learn more and more about the world around them and the horrible disaster plaguing Japan and its people. A really action-packed and rocket-fueled adventure that you do not want to miss out on. Number 8. UQ Holder. Following the story of a small-town boy, Tota, and his big dreams to leave his village and live in the extremely developed Shin Tokyo, a tower-like building that extends into space. About to depart, he is wounded defending his guardian from a bounty hunter, and learns that he has been made into an immortal vampire. Fresh off with this shocking news, our immortal and powerful MC heads off to Shin Tokyo, picking up other travelers along the way and joining a secret society of immortals known as UQ Holder. This secret organization of immortals intertwines with the history of the planet. Protecting humanity from other existential threats, the world of UQ Holder has so much more to it than meets the eye. Epic battles and brilliant set pieces. UQ Holder isn't afraid to tug at the emotional heartstrings. Although Tota may be an incredibly powerful and immortal vampire, he's still got some humanity, and is extremely protective over his loved ones. If bad things were to happen to them, well, let's just say that you wouldn't want to be around for that. Number 7. Big Order. The world of Big Order is filled with these Order users. These people have the ability to grant wishes using their powers. The MC, Eiji, is responsible for one of the most horrific events on the planet, the Great Destruction, and refuses to use his powers since that event. It's been 10 years since the Great Destruction, and since Eiji used his powers. But a new transfer student kidnapped his sister, and Eiji is forced to get back to using his special powers to try and save her. The Big Order masterfully dances around what exactly happened during the Great Destruction and what Eiji had to do with it. We're not going to spoil anything, but you shall soon realize the sheer level of power that this MC has. A very interesting watch that manages to bring in some interesting romance elements. Otherwise, the overarching story and world lore really make the Big Order worth checking out. Number 6. Devil's Line. This series brings forward a super stylish and brilliant dark fantasy that's got us craving more. A seriously well-made series about the dark underbelly of vampires that operate alongside us. But a couple of interesting twists keep The Devil's Line an interesting series and a refreshing watch. First off, vampires do not need blood to survive, but strong emotions can turn them into uncontrollable, bloodthirsty monsters. Our MC, a university student named Tsukasa, learns of this secret world of vampires after his childhood friend reveals her dark secret. Things really get going into full gear as Tsukasa gets dragged deeper and deeper into this world of vampires. A strange and odd romance that is an interesting balancing act, with these brutal vampires learning the ever-present threat that those strong emotions can turn them into absolute frenzied animals that would not hesitate to devour human flesh. Number 5. Nora, Rise of the Yokai Clan. One of the most interesting action dark fantasy series with a very interesting take on the supernatural, Nora is a great all-round anime series that was seriously underrated and definitely deserves a watch. Making waves when it was first released, Nora has since been long forgotten. We follow Rikuro Nora, a half-human, half-yokai demon. In the day, he lives as a normal human, but at night, he assumes his yokai form. Our hero tries desperately to embrace his humanity and attempts to do as many good deeds as he can, although his grandfather does want our hero to become the head of the Nora clan. Helping humans, leading his clan, gathering friends and allies, facing off against revolutions and unrest within his own clan, Nora explores a lot of interesting and engaging plots with some of the best story arcs that we've ever come across. A brilliant series that is one of the strongest character studies more than anything else. Number 4. The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. An interesting and awesome science fiction series that's not too far out there, neither is it too heavy. The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya feels very grounded, and is still able to hit some key emotional notes that had us yearning for more. We follow Kyon and his classmate Haruhi Suzumiya, as he is dragged by her to join up and establish a secretive club called the SOS Brigade. This club deals with all sorts of weird and strange mysteries. From aliens to time travelers, we really have no idea what's coming up next. A really awesome school club that is filled with a number of interesting and eccentric characters. But soon we learn of the hidden power behind the titular Haruhi Suzumiya. Turns out that she's actually an insanely powerful being with a crazy hidden power. She is able to literally warp reality, and she has no idea. The members of the SOS Brigade try and keep things interesting because they fear that if she becomes bored with this current world, she could actually just alter the entire universe and create a completely new world. Number 3. Made in Abyss. Made in Abyss is some pretty heavy dark fantasy that does try to explain things away with science fiction. A pretty new series that is definitely worth checking out, with a second season set to come out soon, following a young orphaned girl by the name of Riko and her life in this weird town that borders this huge hole that just opened up into the deep earth. Referred to as the Abyss, this hole contains strange artifacts and remnants that can be worth quite a bit. This has led to the area becoming a popular spot for cave raiders, people that go on extremely dangerous and scary descents into the Abyss in order to find relics. There is even a mythical curse of the Abyss that is said to drive these cave raiders mad. One of the most famous and fearless cave raiders is actually Riko's mother, and she wishes to follow in her mother's footsteps, until one day she disappeared and she left a mysterious note attached to a balloon floating up, addressed to Riko from her mother, stating that she was waiting at the bottom. We're not going to tell you anymore though. Do yourself a favor and check out Made in Abyss. Number 2. Boongol Stray Dogs. An awesome action mystery series with a strong supernatural flavor to it. The real strength of this series is the brilliant core characters that are definitely going to go down as some of the greatest of all anime. The series itself focuses on a young man that is kicked out of his orphanage and saves a depressed detective that was trying to kill himself. We soon learn about our MC's hidden supernatural power, the ability to turn into an actual tiger. Our MC is recruited by the suicidal detective into his agency, as we come across and meet many other supernatural detectives as they travel around solving crimes, facing off against the mafia, and dealing with the black market. Boongol Stray Dogs goes to a number of interesting and exciting places, but with some awesome characters and clearly defined vision, there are few anime out there that really are as great as this one. Number 1. Guilty Crown. Most futuristic anime have a really brilliant vision of the days to come. Guilty Crown manages to paint a beautiful dystopian future and layers on an extremely mature political thriller around it. With some engaging action scenes, the sheer level of detail in Guilty Crown's plot is what's made it a series that we're not going to be forgetting anytime soon. The year is 2029, after the mass release of this biohazard apocalypse virus that's crippled the world. Wait, sound a bit familiar? Well, Japan couldn't contain the virus and needed some international help. The United Nations and a shadowy organization come in to contain the mass-spreading virus, but instill their own government and take control of Japan in the process. Guilty Crown kicks off 10 years in the future with the establishment of the fight for freedom and resistance, and the battle for Japan begins once again, following a high schooler, Shu Oma, after he encounters a badly wounded girl. He absolutely loses it and pushes the resistance to new heights in a desperate push to restore Japan's independence.
Perfect.